This is the gripper with everything that comes with it installed, and this is the gripper in its basic configuration, like you'd use for a simple rip. Aside from the reverse color combinations, these rippers are the same exact kits. I have no idea why they do that. The good news is that when you're using them, the colors don't mean a thing. They both work just as well. These are all the parts and hardware that come out of a Ripper kit box. And when you get done building a Ripper, you're going to have some hardware left over, but that's on purpose so you can make shop-made fixtures later on. All of the main parts are made from this glass-filled material that's very strong and very stable. But if these parts contact the blade, they go away just like we'd want them to. The layer of green rubber on the bottom of the leg pieces is very tacky and gives you a lot of control over the wood. These are the three main legs that are used almost all of the time, but they include other legs and pieces that allow you to deal with just about any situation you're going to run into. The versatility of this tool is kind of hard to understand until after you use it for a while. The gripper really doesn't have a front or a back. It can be used in either direction. The center leg can be positioned wherever you need it between the two outer legs. The center leg is 1 inch wide, while the outer legs are 1/4 and 1/2 inch wide. And both of the sides are nice and smooth, so you can put either against the fence. Here I'm going to set up to take a fairly narrow cut off the outside edge of this piece. We'll set the rip fence up to make sure that cut is on the outside of the blade. Setup really is no different when you're using the gripper. What is different about the gripper is that we set it up so that we straddle the blade with the legs. Here I have the 1/4 inch leg to the outside of the wood, and I line it up so it's flush with the edge of the wood. I know my cut is about 3/8 of an inch, so I'll stay away from the blade. And as you can see, the gripper takes the cutoff piece out the back of the blade with the wood. We can also use the gripper to make relatively narrow cuts right against the fence. Here I'm setting the fence so that we'll cut a 3/8 inch wide piece. We could probably do this cut with a good wooden push handle, but we're almost guaranteed to cut up that handle in the process. This time I'll put the 1/4 inch wide leg against the fence so that it fits between the fence and the blade, and we can control the cutoff as we make this cut. With the gripper at the back of the board and firmly against the fence, I can push the piece through to make the first cut. Notice how I can bring the pieces out from the back of the blade and set up to make the next cut. Put the wood against the fence, set the ripper on the wood against the fence again, and we can push it through and make another cut and get another piece the exact same width. And I even got ahead of myself, and we'll cut a third one. And now I'll go ahead and make a fourth cut. Even though the outer leg is almost off the wood, we have that wide center leg yet, so I'm still on 2 complete legs, have lots of stability, and the cut goes just fine. The board's narrow enough now that I can put on one of the outside legs. The leg attaches and adjusts with a pair of finger-operated knobs. With the gripper sitting on the wood, I adjust this leg so it's flat on the table, and that'll give me all kinds of stability. Now I can continue to put the wood and the gripper flat against the fence and make my cuts, and it'll stay nice and stable because of the outside leg. Cut number 1 goes fine, except that I left the cutoff piece between the splitter and the fence, but that's not a big deal. And now I can bring the wood back around, put that against the fence, and then forget all about pushing the ripper up against the fence, and cut right through the outer leg. The leg actually only has a saw curve taking across the face at an angle, so I decided to go back and try it again, only this time putting the ripper up against the fence where it belongs, and it still works fine. It's important to note here that the gripper didn't do anything wrong. This was my bad all the way through. If I'd have put the gripper up against the fence like I knew I should have, it wouldn't have this cut in it. It did work pretty well like this, but I ordered a new piece to replace this cut one because this is my fault, not the gripper's. The separated legs on the gripper also let us make bevel cuts and push the cutoff piece out the back of the blade with the board. This is not only a bunch safer, but I think you get a better quality cut because we have so much control over the board and the cutoff piece as we're moving it across the blade. There's really nothing difficult about doing this once you get used to using the gripper a little bit. Gripper also offers what they call a zero clearance leg. It's really 1/8 inch wide where you do the cutting. This lets you cut multiple thin strips all exactly the same size. You just reposition the wood, Get the gripper flat against the fence and move the wood through, and you cut another strip exactly the same thickness. And you can keep repeating the process if you need a bunch of these little strips. I can't think of a safer or more accurate way to make multiple cuts like this. So if you're not happy with your current push devices or just want to add a bunch more versatility, you need to take a look at the gripper system. This is well thought out, they're well made, and they work very easily.